Welcome aboard, all you wonderful groomers, pet stylists, and canine cosmetologists. You found the Traveling Groomers podcast, where we discuss lessons learned from mobile and house call grooming. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Bear Anthony. Any moment now, we'll be joined by my co-host and friend, retired mobile groomer and educator extraordinaire, Mary Oquendo, and very likely a special guest to help us chat about all things grooming, grooming industry related, and just plain fun digressions that I will totally wrangle back to topic. Grab those travel mugs and climb aboard to see where today's topic will bring us. Let's roll!
Hello.
And welcome, Angie, as our oh-so-special guest. And Mary, one
Yes.
day I'm going to sneak in and start recording in our before we hit record conversations. Because guys, I don't know for the 5 people who would be interested, but we had an in-depth conversation about the insanity of jury duty, which D&D alignment each of us would be, and why, and boobs. And
Hit all the high points.
we hit all the high points. I see what you did there, Angie. Oh shit, we have video now. Oh, hi, YouTube. Did we mention the chaotic was in there? Oh, we did. Okay. I don't always know what's going to come out of my mouth.
Yeah, I always check off this is not made for kids on YouTube.
Because we never know what's going to fly out of Chris's mouth.
This is true. She's one of those friends, not safe for work. Not safe for work.
Or let me know. Am I on speakerphone? Are there kids in the room and are you at work? And then I will focus. I will be mostly better unless I get really animated and flies out my mouth.
I know that mostly better is really accurate because I've told you when I was at work before and walking through the rating room and you dropped the F-bomb and I was like, oh.
Well, at work and customers present are 2 different things because I kind of view grooming salons a little bit like men's locker rooms and shipyards.
Well, all my Cat and Buddy customers stay.
Oh.
So.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Thankfully, it was one of the cool customers. I was just like, I gotta go. Bye, click. And I walked in and I was like, oh. And she was like, not safe for work, friend. And I'm like, and she's like, that's fair. I have those too. She's a lovely woman. She's a nurse.
I am not safe for work. Oh, on a very unrelated topic, I found out today what my grandmother's favorite cuss was. And guys, I highly recommend you do this and ask your mother or father what their parents' favorite cuss word was. Because it's very amusing. Because I can't even picture my grandmother cursing. Because she was kind of one of those ish grandmothers, except angry and judgy. But apparently her favorite curse word expression was shit take it all, which I thought was hysterical. And my mother was like, yeah, when I was a kid, I could never understand how a bowel movement could take anything anywhere. I'm like, oh, bless your heart, Mom. You were little. And she's very literal. but it amused me. So
I know what my grandmother's was.
what was it?
Usually this was said,
And was it in Polish?
yes,
Oh.
when we were driving this poor woman absolutely out of her mind, and whatever followed it in English was a direct command. So it went, Jesus Maria, Josefe Spente, out. And that's Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, give me strength. Out. Check. Children fleeing for the door.
I understood half of that. I'm like, oh, that's Jesus and Mary.
Mm.
Yeah, that was the common phrase, but it was in English.
Yes. Whatever followed that was you need to do that right now because you have pushed her to the brink.
And beatings would commence if you didn't.
She wasn't really one to hit unless you swore. If you swore in front of her, my brother was 35 years old and he was setting the table for supper. So we were all there. And she had, do you guys remember those giant ceramic fruit bowls that weighed like 80 pounds that were huge in the 70s? Everybody was going out and painting the fruit bowl for the dining room table. She had one of those. And my brother dropped it and it fell on his foot. And he said, ah, shit. My grandmother came out of that kitchen so fast. And she was what? Let's see. So she was about 89, 88, around there. From way back, like, woo. And she hit him on the tuchus so hard, she lifted him off the ground. He's 6'4". She's 5'2". She lifted him a clear inch off the ground on his toes. My nephew.
He's so concerned I'm dying.
My nephew was like 5 at the time. And he went, oh, Daddy said a bad word.
Oh.
And Daddy got spanked. And my grandmother turns to him and she said, yes, he did, because he knows better than that. And he's like, I'm sorry. So we're sitting down to dinner and he is really crooked. That butt cheek is like flying off the chair. He's not even touching the chair with it. And I'm like, Bri, what are you doing? And he's like, it hurts. He's like, I'm going to have a bruise. He's like, man, she still got it. She still got it.
You got to be really careful of those short women, okay? Because my mother was 5'1", 5'2" around there. And my brother, who I probably at the time 16 was like already like, I don't know, 6'3" at this time. And my mother asked him to go do something. And he walks right past her and goes, I'll get to it when I get to it. She lifted him up off the ground, pinned him up against the wall, and said, I must have misheard you.
I said, I will get to it right now, Mom, is what I
said. No, you did. You did. What did you hear? What did you hear? I said I was going to go do it.
Right now.
Now.
And I tell you, I was peeling potatoes and I was
I
pissed
don't know the sign.
because why is it the girl that always has to peel the potatoes? Okay. And boy, I watched her lift my brother up off the floor, up against the wall, and I just shut up.
Peeling.
Potatoes. Do you have any more? Is this enough potatoes? Do I have to peel more?
I'll peel all the potatoes. Well, another 5, just bring another 5 pounds. I'll get those too. It's fine.
So anyway, we actually have a topic of conversation today. And usually when we have Angie on board, it is something really dire and
serious.
dark.
It's very serious.
With not this episode. We figured we needed to get on because we needed to show maybe the lighter side of Angie.
Yes.
Is there a lighter side of Angie?
Yes. Well,
They can be.
I pointed out we did do an episode about photography that was a
Yes.
lighter side, and she's like, that was so long ago. People have forgotten. Now it's, oh crap, Angie's on who died.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we don't want to do that to Angie. But
So we're going to start off with like the stages of our lives. And we have 3 people on here, and each of us are in a different stage. So things that work for me, not going to work for Angie, and not going to work for Chris. Things I'm
and
doing, not going to work for somebody else. Go ahead, Chris.
and we also have a huge announcement.
Yes, we do.
It's huge. We're not going to tell you what it is right away because you got to listen.
All right.
We
So
did it for the ratings. Wait, do
For
we
those
have,
that are
what
on
are you
the
breaking?
podcast, you're missing the dance that accompanies the song. So it's literally, there is a song and dance.
Yeah. Which is
Okay.
apparently also for the ratings. I don't know.
Okay. So when I first started grooming, I didn't start grooming until my youngest was in high school. Okay. So I never was in that stage where I had young kids at home and had to worry about daycare. Just a teenager, surly teenager in my house. Okay. But then on the other side of it, my father went from a assisted living to a nursing home, and there was challenges there. So that's how, when I entered the pet industry, that was my stage of life I was in. Okay. Already married, been married forever, still married forever. We had a house. So that's where I was at that stage. And Angie and Chris, when you started, you were in different stages of your lives.
Yeah. I didn't have kids. I don't, kids never came out of my body, but that didn't mean I didn't have a family to support. Because at the time, we were single income by choice, because what had happened was when we got married, Cam worked for the post office, and he worked in the remote encoding center, which means, for those of you who really want to know about the inner workings of the post office, they scan mail and it flashes up on someone's computer screen, and then they hit some buttons to tell it which sorting centers to go to, like where it's going in the country, kind of thing. So he was one of the bunch of people sitting at a terminal, doing that, which is decent work for an introvert, because there was not as much talking that he needed to do. Just sit at his desk and do that as fast as humanly possible. But it was a night shift. Like, he got out of work at 11. I worked in an office, like 9 to 5 office job. We were newlyweds. We didn't really see each other. And I was working for Avaya. This was in my life before grooming. And back 25 years ago, 70,000 was a really nice chunk of change. So I was making good money, and it didn't make sense for him to not make as much and us to never see each other and be on these opposite schedules. It was a huge pain in the ass. So long story, already long. We were single income. And then they closed my plant, my office building. You know what week, the last week that the office was open? I want to say our last day was September 15th, 2001. So right after 9/11. So I had already been thinking, I'm not cut out for office work. I'm not cut out for corporate America. No. And you've met me, so you'd probably agree, as will all of my managers. But so now we were like, crap, nobody's working. I like dogs. This is going to be a good thing. I liked having a stay-at-home spouse. I needed employ. And this would be like, oh, but I love animals. I love working with animals. I love helping them. And I can support the family. This is a win-win for me. Was where I was when I started grooming.
Okay, and I just want to add, at the time I started working, we were double income. So we had two incomes coming in, and my husband had a good job with a pension and medical benefits.
I was newly married, in college, had graduated high school, and needed a job. We were young. Oh my God, poor. Um, and you know, that ramen noodle stage of your life
Oh, yeah.
where, you know, you splurge and get the macaroni and cheese because it's like, oh, we're gonna get mac and cheese for the weekend because you have to like buy milk
Yeah. And
and
butter.
butter,
Yes.
and you need both of these things to make that meal, not just water.
Yeah. As opposed to the ramen noodles, where for 99 cents, you have a meal.
It was a
Oh,
dime back then.
Oh, that's
yeah, it was a
right.
time. Yeah,
That's
10 for
right.
$1, Chris.
It
Yeah, I
was 10
remember
for a
the
dollar.
Wow.
Oh.
So literally, I mean, at the time, keep in mind, I was making $6.50 an hour and grooming. So I could work 1 hour and we could get 60 packs of ramen noodles. You could basically fill the cart with that. That was like
Yeah.
1 hour food for the month. There you go. So, and then it just kind of graduated from college and then was grooming full time, then decided I should probably use my degree. And then I did and groomed after work. And every time I say that, somebody always gives me the face. They're like, isn't grooming work too? But at the time, it was my like,
It was a de-stress job.
yeah, it
When
was like
you're in
calm
law
down,
enforcement and have to deal with, yeah, certain
all the
levels of,
yuck. And then you have a
yeah.
puppy that's kissing your face. So that was like, there was
Yeah.
work, it was grooming. And so I did that until I burnt out. And then I just been grooming full time ever since. And yeah, so then I sold my salon in, I signed the paperwork in May. And
You're getting too far ahead, Angie.
Yeah, we're getting ahead. We're getting ahead. So that was where we were.
All right, so is
You
it
know
time for
what?
the first commercial?
Yeah, we're going to take a commercial break, and I'm going to turn off my camera and find out how much of the trash, which is on the other side of the cabinet that I can't see, but I can hear, Alaric, my dog has gotten into. Yeah. Crap, it's only a 30-second one. We'll be fine. As a house call groomer, the idea of van and generator maintenance had kept me out of one for years. But Hanvey Engineering and Design has been making mobile grooming vans for 20 years now and has thought of that. No generator to maintain, repair, and replace. No propane to fill or worry about running out in the middle of winter. Hanvey vans have the lowest operating costs out there. I know I'm sold, but check out their latest innovations for yourself at hanvey.com.
And we're waiting for Chris.
oh, her dog nose dialed me the other day.
Oh.
Alric called me on the phone. Chris had left her phone somewhere.
I want to
And-
say it was on my desk.
And so, you know, Chris, so of course I answered it. I'm like, hey, what's up? And there's just like this sniffing. And I'm like, hi, Alric. We had a little chat. And I'm like, is your mom there, honey? where's mom? Where's mom? Much more sniffing. And I'm like, honey, go get your mom. I felt like I was talking to a 2-year-old. And so sniffy, 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 sniff, sniff, sniff. And the more I talked to him, the more sniffing. And I was like, all right, hon, I'm painting. So I'm going to let you go. Tell your mom I said hi.
And
So, yeah.
first of all, he didn't because he's a brat and he knew he wasn't supposed to be messing on my desk. So that would have ratted him out. Second of all, does anyone want to guess exactly how much of the trash he got into?
All the trash.
All the trash. All the trash.
Go
So-
big or go home, Chris.
Huh?
Go big or go home.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So my needs when I first started in the industry were really different than as we moved along. So entering a different stage in our life. And you know what? We all go through this. We all have a stage where we are that's not going to be like anybody else's stage, but it's going to be different from the stage before for you. And your business needs to change to accommodate that because your needs are changing, right? So then I moved into, we'll just say stage 2, right? And I went mobile, okay? My father was pretty much situated in the nursing home. And then he passed shortly after that. And then my husband lost his kidneys. Yay. You know, so, but I had no kids in my house. All right.
Mobile and house call are great for people who need odd, flexible schedules because you can, and I joked, give me enough notice. I can be anywhere at any time. I just need a couple weeks notice.
Oh, yeah. Doing things on the fly. And it's how I always did my schedule. And I realized I kind of liked the way I was doing my schedule, which is not giving people their next appointment. Yeah, I will see you in 6 weeks.
I will see you the week of.
I will see you the week of. I will call about 2 weeks before, or even better yet, when texting came out, I was beside myself with joy. Okay. Because that took my phone time from like hours down to minutes. Okay. I will text you the week and you tell me what you can and can't do. I will route it out and I will let you know. This way I knew where everybody was, where my husband needed to be, you know, whether or not I had to go pick up now my kid from college, bring her back home, all the things. And it also, because that schedule was so flexible, all right, again, now I don't have kids at home anymore, okay? That meant my husband and I could just take a random trip because we weren't booked out. And if I decided that I was going to be away this week, well, you know what? Guess what? They did not get their appointment. So I just moved them. Okay. You know,
That's success. That's just, yeah.
okay. Thank you for that, Chris.
You're welcome. It had nothing to do with me actually wanting to hit a button. Nothing at all.
Okay. Now she distracts us, and then where were we going with our story?
Train derailed.
Well, it meant we could take well, for us, weekend was midweek. All right. And what's beautiful about that is, you know what?
Everything's
You
cheaper.
go on vacation midweek,
Oh, yeah.
there's no
It's
kids.
way cheaper.
Oh, besides being way cheaper, there's hardly any kids.
There's that too, because school, yeah.
Kids are in school. Do you know what it's like to go to like a zoo or an aquarium and there's like no kids there?
I don't actually, but it sounds quite lovely
It
without
sounds-
all the little screaming.
Little demons running around?
Yeah,
And I would like to preface this by saying I adore children. I do.
Not on vacation.
But the amount of people who cannot get them to behave in public is alarming.
Okay, let's in defense, okay?
Yes.
You have little kids who are excited to be someplace.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be really hard to contain them. We took our kids to Disneyland for the very first time, and my kids were, I don't know, 2, Cindy was 2, so let's say 2, 5, and 6, or 2, 4, and 5, whatever. They were little, okay? And I've got Cindy basically on one of those little harness leashes things, okay? And we entered this area, and then all of a sudden, all the characters came out. And the next thing you know, I'm standing there by myself. Husband and my 3 kids took off in different directions. Yeah, my 2-year-old. I think I found her with Minnie Mouse. Amanda was with Donald Duck. I forget what Jessie was. And my husband was out there cavorting with the characters.
We're not helping.
I'm having a problem picturing Ernesto cavorting.
Yeah, whatever.
It was a very,
So the point being is, when kids go someplace, whether it's a zoo, the aquarium, they're excited to be there.
Yes.
Most of the
Wire.
time,
Yes.
they're hyped up on soda and candy. Okay.
And I don't always mind the excited when they're just like happy and excited. I'm like, oh my God, look at this. It's kind of cute. It's kind of cute. It's the crash. It's the crash from the
Oh, and
sugar
that's
high
exactly what
when
happens
they
is
get
when they
tired.
crash from the sugar. Now they're tired and cranky. Now we get the other side of the coin. So, but you know what? That was not the stage I was in. My business, in order to support that, had to be really flexible so that I can go and take these trips whenever I wanted, or a day off and just go and do something. Okay. So my business needs were different for that stage of my life than it was for the stage before that. Okay. We're still good. We're still teasing people, right?
We're still teasing people. We're still teasing people.
Okay.
We're still being, yeah.
All right. And so then we enter another stage of my life, and I know I'm not going to be grooming forever because this is killing my body. All right. Because you know what? I'm doing the big dogs. All right. I love the golden retrievers. Chris, when I tell you I could groom 6, 7 golden retrievers in a day, I am not. Give me those little mushy faces, the little pancake 400-pound golden retrievers, the ones that come into my
Paw.
truck with 2 tennis balls in their mouth. Yeah. You know, Cindy came with me one day when I had, like, I don't know, 5 goldens in a day. It was a glorious day. And so she's asking, what's their name? Casey. What's their name? Casey. What's his name? Casey. We get to the last one. Let me guess. Casey. I go, no, this one's Rufus.
I love when they do the paw and they just want to hold your hand.
yeah.
Yeah.
I actually have a couple of Black Russians that would do that. The only problem is when a Black Russian Terrier does that, not that Goldens are small by any means, but BRTs have more mass behind them, and they don't just want to do it to hold your hand. They do it to get your attention, or to say hello, or to say I love you. And dude,
Yeah.
and I want to say it was within a year of my surgery, and he went boof and pawed my boob so hard
Hmm.
it was numb for like 20 minutes.
Yep.
It was, and I couldn't even be mad because he's not there. There was not a malicious bone in his body. He was doing it for love, but I said some not safe for work words.
right.
No, I'm shocked.
I know. I don't want to shock any of you all. Clutch your pearls.
All
But
right. Now, during that stage, I realized I couldn't groom forever, and I had wanted to teach. I had just started teaching pet first aid, and I wanted to expand into being an educator in the industry. Okay. So then my business changed yet again. Okay. And it was actually 2011 that I launched positive educational training in a way different format than it is today. Okay. Because again, my business has to change to meet what it is I need to do. So
Mhm.
when I first started it, technology wasn't there. I didn't have enough confidence in myself to say I can just do this myself. And I pulled in too many people to help out with it. And that was a problem. Okay. Again, good intentions for everybody all around, but none of that solid educational technology base was there. Okay. So then I stopped at that point. It's not that I stopped doing big dogs. My last two dogs on the very last day that I
We're
groomed,
Goldens.
no, was an ancient collie and her younger Aussie brother. Aussie was huge, beautiful coat,
Aw.
nice, easy coat.
Yeah.
Collie at this point was hollowed out. So yeah, it's not that I ever stopped doing the large dogs. I stopped doing the monster large ones. So you know that the 200-pound golden retrievers, yeah, they were a thing of the past. Well, maybe not 200 pounds, Andy. Maybe more like the 125-pound
Oh, well,
golden.
yes, I was going to say I can picture a 200-pound golden retriever, but I can't picture it like being able to support its weight or doing anything but lay there and go, "What? No gravy?"
Yeah. So I had to get rid of some of my goldens. Any of the large dogs that were not done on a regular basis. So I had to get rid of a bunch of Aussies. Surprisingly, I didn't get rid of any shepherds. A couple of mastiffs. My only Great Pyrenees went goodbye, and started working more on smaller dogs. Also, around that time, I changed the way I priced. Okay,
Isn't that
introduced
awesome?
introducing two different types of pricing. Well, not two different types, but basically one, I was always hourly, one rate for the smaller dogs and a higher rate for the larger dogs or the dogs that needed larger haircuts. Okay. So like the Shih Tzus were one rate, even those that needed a haircut. Anything larger than a Shih Tzu went up to the higher rate if they required a, or small poodle. Anything higher than that, bigger than that, went up into the higher rate for haircuts. And that also included cats. And I would have changed my pricing again if I was still grooming, but you know what? I retired. So, and that's, again, business had to change. My business, not me changed to my business changed to me. And I think that is some tough concept for people to understand when they allow their business to run their lives. The business is not there to run your life. Your business is there to support you in your life. And yes, it pays the bills, but it still has to support your lifestyle, because if it's not, this is what's going to start burnout and resentment towards your business. I have never resented my business, no matter where I was in my life. If my business wasn't working for me, it changed so that I would not be resentful of my business. Yes, Chris?
So if ergonomics is making the job or the tool fit the person instead of forcing the person to fit the tool or the job, could you then refer to running your own business as you need to have an ergonomic business model because you need to make the business fit you?
I like that. I
Yeah.
actually like that phrase.
Yeah, that's a great way to
Because
put it.
if it doesn't, and it's the same principles of ergonomics just applied to mental instead of
I like
physical.
that. That might be a workshop there, ergonomic businesses. Your business, to have your business fit you, not the other
Yeah,
way around.
yeah.
So you've given your assignment, Chris.
There you go.
Well, when we stop recording, I'll ask you about another assignment. I may have another crap class.
Okay.
Okay.
So hit
So
another commercial.
it's about time to hit that button again for another commercial, but I have to navigate away from the sound effects because, buttons. I love being a house call groomer, but I hate doing laundry or worrying about asking my clients for fresh towels. Raypet has solved those problems for me with the Wet Pet disposable towel. Taking up much less space than traditional cotton towels and easy to wring out and reuse, these super soft, comfy, absorbent towels eliminate any cross-contamination concerns between pets, and now their new smaller washcloth size can even help those sensitive eye areas. Great for cleaning out wrinkles gently and thoroughly. Need to keep water bowls for your clients on hand that are easy to disinfect, but hate all the room traditional clanky metal bowls take up? Or just have a very active pet? Their collapsible silicone bowl comes with an aluminum D-ring hook that can be attached to your pet's leash or anywhere else in your van for easy storage. You can get one by itself or in their handy travel kit, along with a set of 3 tick removers and 1 small wet pet towel. So stop by their website to check it out, raypet.net, and tell them the Traveling Groomer sent you. So, Mary, can I digress for a moment?
Are you
Because,
asking permission to digress?
well, that just sounds wrong when you put it that way. Let me rephrase. So I'm going to digress for a minute because it relates.
Okay.
So the flood was, as I've discussed before, a bit of a blessing in disguise regarding having the house redone and a lot of things having to change. And stop eating the literal floor, dude. The floor. Anyway, um, so the outside of the house has gotten a makeover as well, and we got a fence and we got the front landscaped, but the backyard was still kind of meh, most of it. Well, now we have 2 dogs that love to dig and a fenced in yard and a lot of dirt, and I'm pulling my hair out. So we're finally getting the yard redone. I am making the yard fit my lifestyle as opposed to fitting my lifestyle around the yard. Any guess what I'm going to do?
Are you doing the AstroTurf stuff?
No, we did contemplate that. We thought about that pretty hard. No, rocks, all rocks.
Okay. I am just be careful on the rocks you get because we did have that in our backyard for our dogs. And the problem is that the dogs don't necessarily like to play on it.
Well, we already have a section that's gravel, and they will play on that. And the rest we're doing with more the river rocks that are rounded. So they're good. So it's going to be more comfortable. So there's that. And then if they really hate it, there is the concrete patio section that we're not ripping up, even though it's got some cracks in it. We're like, meh, it's fine. And so there's that portion. So there'll be gravel, smooth rock, concrete patio. And then maybe they'll actually use that little bed area I set up for them that, that they don't use because derp.
Okay. All right. So that really does illustrate the point. You have to change things. Can't keep things the same because A, you don't grow, and it's not necessarily going to serve you. Okay. So now I move into, and I evaluate my business on a yearly basis. I take a good look at it, it's still serving my needs. What can I do to make it better? What changes can I make? And so I come up to the next stage, and now I have to make a decision. Do I retire from mobile grooming and teach full time, or do I let that one go and I continue grooming? I have to make a choice because doing half and half is not, it's not helping. Okay. I could be making way more money grooming if I'm good at groom. Okay. But if I really want to teach, then I have to make that decision to take my energy, move in that direction. All right. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to sell a van and I'm going to teach full time, changed up the membership, positive ed. We were relocating now out to Washington, so selling the van, and then I'm packing up the house, all that sort of good stuff to head out to Washington. And then, you know what, everything's going great. And then COVID hits. Woohoo. And yeah, that really made a big change because now that business model was not working, period. Okay. And I had to make changes there. Okay. So sometimes you have to. I think the people who did really well during COVID were the ones who embraced the change and made the changes.
Yes. Yes, because so many like restaurants, I think was a perfect example of that because we saw restaurant closure, no lie. We saw a lot of businesses shut down during COVID, but we saw a lot of them just absolutely thrive with takeout and
Well,
thrive with DoorDash and Uber Eats and all the delivery services. Just, yeah.
business models had to change. Okay. There was a really excellent restaurant here. And what they did is they took the closure and they remodeled the store. Equipment needed to be updated. It was like the perfect time to do it. So they totally gutted it out and they redid it. Okay. Having that conversation about having emergency fund, that's another podcast. We're not even going to go into that. We're not discussing that. Okay. We're discussing how life changes. Okay. And things are going along really well there. You know what? I'm now teaching full time. I'm not grooming at all. And I will tell you, I missed grooming for about 3 weeks. Right. So that leading up to it, because I've been grooming these families now in second generation, at least second generation dogs. And I got to say goodbye to them. Okay. But that lasted for about 3 weeks because in 3 weeks' time, my shoulder stopped hurting and I could sleep on the side of the side I want to sleep on. Okay. So, and change can be scary. Okay. Especially when it's a radical change, but you have to do it. Right. If you don't make that change, you're going to be miserable. And if you're miserable, it's gonna show in your work. People are going to pick up on the fact that you're miserable. Yeah. Right. The pets are going to pick up on the fact that you're miserable. Your family is going to pick up on the fact that you're miserable. Your coworkers are going to pick up on the fact that you're miserable. Right. So sometimes you have to like bite the bullet. All right. And yes, I had a safety net because at this time my husband's retired from work, but he had a pension. Okay. So at some point there was always that pension money that was going to come in anyway. So there was a little bit of a safety net for me to say, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to make that decision. I'm going to switch over to something else. Okay. So again, reevaluate your business. Okay. So how far into this do we want to make because I'm reevaluating.
We are almost due for a commercial break. So I think we're going to take a commercial break.
Okay.
Because Angie's been very quiet this whole episode.
Because we're going to talk about her
transition. Well, there were other things she could have discussed. Anyway.
She jumped right into selling her business, and I'm like, no, you're too soon.
Anywho, too soon. Haha. But you know what? We were talking about continuing education. And speaking of continuing education, because we either were or will be, join the Andis World Class Education team each month for live interactive virtual classes. You'll learn new and trending styles, as well as tips and tricks from some of the best groomers in the industry. Whether you're looking for basic skills, trending styles, advanced techniques, or even just ways to spark your creativity, the new Andis Grooming Education site is your source for finding what you need to create your way for success. Try new techniques, learn from the pros, and grow your confidence today at andis.com/groomer education. Traveling Groomer podcast listeners, hey, that's you, can get 25% off your first course today with the code VEGROOMING at checkout on andis.com/groomer education.
All right.
No, I'm not. I'm not now Googling planters that will fit on the top of my fence so I can still have flowers and greenery in my stone-filled yards at the top of my fence that the dogs can't get into.
Okay.
I'm not searching that on Amazon at all.
There's lots to search on Amazon. I need.
excited.
So about a year-ish ago, all right. Again, now I don't necessarily evaluate my business at the end of the year or the beginning of the year. It's when I feel I need to look at it. It's generally about once a year. If it's all good, we continue. If not, why? So about a year ago, I started to realize that I didn't want to do this anymore. All right. I want to enter, I'm not going to say my last stage. I'm simply going to say the next stage.
The
Okay.
gardening, where you're officially in the gardening stage
I
of life.
basically want to get into the gardening stage. So you know what? I don't want to commit a lot of the time to putting on summits anymore. There's a lot of work that goes into them. And so Angie, about a year ago, just brings up, hey, if you're ever thinking of selling positive ed, I want to know. And I'm like, yeah, let's have a discussion. Okay. And as Angie soon realized, it wasn't all that easy to learn what needed to be done.
Dude,
It's not alfalfa and its gang. Oh, let's put up the stage and put a show on.
So
dude.
basically what you're saying is positive educational training is doing some changing as well,
Oh, yeah.
because
It now needs to change again
it needs
because
to change.
it's what is serving me. So what is serving me right now, besides my greenhouse, okay, is minor coaching. When I say minor coaching, I mean, I'm doing more group coaching, and specifically for those who want to be educators, that's my niche and that's where I want to be. All right. I'm not taking on big coaching projects anymore because I want my free time. I'm probably doing more writing, though not for groomer to groomer. And I've got more books that I want to promote. And I have, Chris, a greenhouse, which, by the way, has just been named. It was Boo's Berry Patch, in case you haven't heard that one yet.
Yes.
And so I'm in garden. Spirit's Garden is like right out here.
Dude, he found the box of grooming products. Be right back. Keep talking amongst yourselves.
All right, so this is where I'm at right now. Okay, I want to end up and where I want to reduce the amount of time that I'm actually earning money, because God knows I am not making any money off my greenhouse.
Well, no, but you are enjoying the time you're,
I am enjoying the time.
and that's worth it. Plus, anything you grow in that greenhouse is like, I grew this. So it's like all that much sweeter.
Oh my God, seriously. You know what it's like to bite into like a firm carrot?
That you grew? Yes, I do. And it is lovely.
So I'm very happy in there. And so I need to have time to do that. I can't do that if I'm running monthly summits. And so the fact that now Angie, I think, has got it.
There was a learning curve. Like, I mean, yes, anybody can run a Zoom, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, great. The back end that is required to make that Zoom run.
Mm-hmm.
So before I guess people pretty much guessed what's going on here right now. But Angie, what changed in your life to put you in a different stage? Let's go.
Well, I'm getting divorced. I'm moving to Florida. I have 2 torn rotator cuffs. Sold my salon. So I needed something else to do. And I was planning on moving to Florida and opening a bunny only salon, which I still plan on doing. Like 2 days a week. But an opportunity presented itself. And since you were going to the gardening stage of your life, it was quite perfect timing for me to jump in and say, how about positive ed? And take over positive educational training.
So everybody meet the new owner of Positive Educational Training. So give Angie a round of applause, because at any point during the last year, I was half expecting a phone call saying, never mind.
I was
This
like a
is
challenge.
too much. I can't do this.
I like a challenge.
So
There's been a challenge. The coolest thing, though, is meeting each of those challenges, especially, okay, so part of the summits now is an automated tested certification. So if you pass the test, you need a 70, you get a certificate. Setting that up. Oh, there were hours of literal migraine level agony as I was like, why doesn't this work? Why doesn't this work? I don't understand why this doesn't work. And then, like, all of the sudden, it just came together and I figured it out in that light bulb moment.
you wrote down the steps, right? Into a checklist.
I did.
Okay,
But
good.
the problem was that, like, on their like instructions on how to do it, it's got steps 1 and 2. And the next steps are 3 and 4. However, it's missing 2A and B. So I had to figure those out on my own, because without 2A and 2B, yeah, 3 doesn't work.
Okay, but you figured it out.
I
And
did.
see, this is the thing with technology.
Yeah. So, yeah, so, I was able to set up certifications for all of the like the July summit, the safety summit has 2 certifications. The June one had 1 certification. August has 2 certifications. September has 3. So yeah, it's just going to be.
It was time for fresh blood to come
Yeah.
in, because again, my stage that I'm in is that I want to go down to my garden and garden.
By the way, they are not a sponsor, but apparently Alaric now wants to play fetch with this botanical body splash from the Sentiment Spa line. Just saying. That's not going to happen.
Okay.
Sorry.
So then evaluating my business model was no longer working for me. So how would I go about fixing that so that it would work for me? That was the challenge that I had faced last year when I knew I needed to make changes. Okay.
I
So
already
Chris,
played the song once. I don't want us to get like yeeted off YouTube, but just know that 90% of the time you say the word changes. In my head, I hear changes. Do, 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 do. Yeah, sorry.
so
Sorry, not
Angie
sorry.
is making some significant changes to her life. And that's the stage that she is in now. And I am still in the pet industry. Don't make any mistake about this. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just taking a reduced role.
You're not actually retiring. You're just you're just not doing one of your 3 jobs.
Yeah.
I'm still on several boards in the industry. Okay. But I need to spend time outside and garden, or just sit and look at my spirit memorial garden, or I probably will put a bench out there, I think.
Oh, you totally should. Get one of those concrete benches.
I don't know about concrete. Woo-hoo. Okay. Next time I go down to the Gem and Mineral Show. Have
Yeah.
you ever seen those benches that are made out?
Yes.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to go down the first day of the show because those benches sell out so fast.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're really cool.
Yeah, they are. They'll have to be delivered with a crane. Just saying.
Yeah.
So yeah,
They
that
had one at the Gem and Mineral Show here, and there were 3 of them. And I got there about 10 minutes before the show opened, and I was walking over. By the time I got to the door with my ticket in my hand that I had already paid for online, they were all sold.
Yeah.
They're gone. Sold, sold, sold. I don't even know how. It was open like a minute and a half.
yeah, somebody made a beeline over there.
Either that, or did you talk to the vendors? Because maybe they actually pre-sold some of that bigger items and they were delivering them to the show and just putting them like, look what we can do.
I don't know. I was just like,
I'm gonna have to go to the big Gem and Mineral Show here in Washington. I don't know if that's Seattle. It'll be one of them. But anyway, do we have one more commercial?
We do have one more commercial break. What time is it? It's about that time. But I was going to say something relevant. Can I remember it? No. Will I? Who knows? A lot can happen in 30 seconds.
It's a relevant thing, Chris.
As a house call groomer, the idea of van and generator maintenance had kept me out of one for years. But Hanvey Engineering and Design has been making mobile grooming vans for 20 years now and has thought of that. No generator to maintain, repair, and replace. No propane to fill or worry about running out in the middle of winter. Hanvey vans have the lowest operating costs out there. I know I'm sold, but check out their latest innovations for yourself at hanvey.com. Ta-da! No, did I think about what I was going to say? No. Am I slightly distracted because Alaric wants to eat everything today? Also, yes.
Okay.
Now, the burning question that I'm sure everyone is going to be asking, Mary, if you're taking steps back and enjoying the gardening phase of life, are you going to be taking a step back from podcasting anytime soon?
Not anytime soon. I've taken Women Petpreneurs, and instead of making that weekly, that is now every other week. And at some
Weekly
point,
is a lot.
yeah, it is, especially with this one being a week.
Yeah.
Will I let that go at some point? Maybe, but not right now. It's an hour of my time to record it and then schedule it all over creation. I can do that. I do the not the processing of this, because Chris does all the editing, which I don't do any editing for Women Petpreneurs. That's raw. I should put like raw on it.
Mary said raw.
That was a good.
how did I know? How did I know? I was like, oh, I know exactly. Yep, there it is.
What the snort or the Beavis and Butthead laugh?
All of the above.
My channeling my inner 12-year-old boy.
Okay, so that said, yeah, but that's again down the line. Okay. I'm still going to be at trade shows. I'm still going to be teaching at trade shows. Right. And yes, Angie will hire me to teach at the summits too.
Facts. She's already scheduled for a bunch. It's like, hey, Mary, I
That's
need.
going to be a whole lot different than putting all the back end of that together. I just got to show up like everybody else, teach, and Angie will send me a check. Thank you.
Yeah. And then she just boogers off. Like, ta-ta.
See you around. I'm going out to the greenhouse.
Yeah.
But
But from time to time, I know that should I need you for whatever reason.
So if there's tech issues, cut Angie some slack. Know that she's in a panic calling me.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God, something's gone horribly wrong. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, and by the way, if y'all have not noticed, we didn't do a positive ed commercial
This whole thing was about positive
because
ed.
we spent like the entire thing basically talking about positive ed. I would also like to say for the record that unless I am very much mistaken, Angie said booger and not bugger.
Yeah.
Which are two very different words with very different meanings.
Yeah.
And because I was a reader as a child and I read things and I didn't know what that word meant, and I just thought it meant like darn it, damn it, whatever, booger.
No.
Oh no. Oh, it does not.
No.
Did
That
you
is why I said boogered off.
booger? And that's why I clarified, because I know Angie said booger off.
Because I am safe for work friend.
Yes, she is safe for work friend, but the other phrase is bugger off.
Yes.
Mary, do you know what that word means?
Okay, seriously, is she really asking me that question?
Uh-huh.
I believe she is.
Am I that old that I would not know the answer to that? Do you want me to say it?
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm safe for work.
But
Mary's like, haha, I'm safe for work friend.
but there's ways, I mean, first of all, Mary,
You
fucking hate people.
what the fuck?
if that's the word you were going to say, that's not quite it. Was that the word you were going to say?
And it's in and around that.
In and around the back door? Yes. Exactly.
I am not ever going to say that, okay?
But I found a way to safe for work say it.
Okay.
And it's not a no. A couple doesn't
And
make
also,
love and no. Buggery is very specific and usually a little derogatory and usually a little not a nice way to say that. And I did not know that as a child and used that word inappropriately. Or maybe appropriately, who knows?
yeah, but you know what?
For the situation, but inappropriate that you'd used it in the first place.
Inappropriate that I was like under 14.
I wouldn't have had a face if that came out of my mouth. Because my Graham would have spanked me so hard, my rear end would have ended up in my eyeballs.
I don't think she knew what it meant. And I have a history of picking up words that I didn't know what they meant when I was a child and using them inappropriately. And then my mother going, "What do you think that word means, dear?" And I would tell her, and she would say, "Oh no," and told me what it meant. And I was horrified into a coma. Horrified. And I don't horrify easily. I was horrified. I mean, I was also 5 or 6. Anyway.
I mixed up lush and mush when I was about 4.
Okay. Funny, inappropriate story. There was a lot of news stories, and I was very young, and there were a series of attacks happening in New York, and they were talking about certain things on the news. And I kind of asked what it was, because a child does not have a concept of sex, much less what rape is. Not that rape is sex, but anyway, you know what I mean. No concept. But this was on the news a lot because there were a series of attacks happening. And I distinctly remember my mom got all serious and she was like, "Oh no, this is not a conversation we want to have with a young child." But crap, it was on the news, like, "Ugh." And she very seriously explained what it was, and still not having that huge a concept of it. I went, "Oh, I heard it wrong. I thought it was people being attacked attacking somebody with a rake. I thought they were being raked, as in the garden tool." And I just went doo 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 doo, and I boogered off, and and she just was like, and I could see did I just have a conversation I didn't even need to freaking have, because she didn't hear the word correctly. God damn it. Could have just said, "Yeah, they're attacking people with rakes." Yeah. Could have just told the child that, but no. Yeah. Once again, find out what your grandparents' favorite cuss is. It will be amusing. I mean, unless it's just the F-bomb for you younger children. If your grandparents in Gen X, meh. If your grandparents are either boomers or in the silent generation, find out. It's going to be hysterical. It may not be a word you know. But anyway, on that note, you know what I remembered just a minute ago? I remembered that right about an hour ago, I kept going in my head, "I have to do it. I have to do it. I have to do it before the first commercial break." Did I do it because we were busy talking? No.
What'd you
We
forget
just
to
went
do,
on.
Chris?
I forgot to say, and I will amend it now. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been listening to episode number 267, recorded on 6/26, and that will air on July 10th. Thank you for listening. Dang it, I was queued up to do it too, and it just went pew. It left.
Happens.
It left. So, Angie, are you excited for Positive Ed now that the nausea has stopped?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
No, now I have it down. Like
Okay.
I have, okay, first of all, Mary gave me like a 5-page how-to guide. And then like every week for how many months did we do this?
Probably about 4 months.
4 months. We met in Zoom and I went, and she would go, "Huh, I'll show you again," like this. And I'm like, okay. And I'm writing this down, mad, crazy, right? All the things, all the steps. Okay, I got it. I totally got it now. Right. Next day, I'd go to do it and go, now I have it down because I've done it so many times and she's helped me through it step by step.
Now, see,
And
this should have been a commercial for Scribe. We should have reached outside the grooming industry for a sponsor, because I keep seeing commercials for them. Like you do the task and it captures it and creates a how-to with screenshots and pictures.
yeah,
That would have been useful.
it actually would have been, but I mean, her notes were very clear. It's just, I didn't really know necessarily what.
It's clear once you've gone through it and you're like, "Oh, but if you really have no idea what the hell you're even looking at."
Yes, all
No,
of
I
that.
get it. I get it. I get it.
So now I've got it down. Now I'm like, okay. And it can be like 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm like, oh, that's gonna make the coolest banner. I gotta do that right now. Like I made the one for the Spirited Summit, which is the October summit. I made that at 2:30 in the morning. Might have been 3. And
And then
I
you
was like,
started
that'd be
playing
so
with AI. And then you started
no,
playing with AI for our pictures. You didn't use AI in
no,
Canva for that. What did you do? You,
I did that.
She means the scary
I mean, the
pictures.
scary pictures.
Oh, that's because you said that I
Yes.
should. Okay, so oh, this is a whole different story. Okay, so Chris is
Yeah.
like, you should use AI and make the speaker pictures spooky. And I was like, yeah, okay, I mean, sure.
Sure.
So I put in like a picture. It was Chris's headshot because C is in my headshot folder first. Because yes, I know Angie starts with A, but I am under my picture is labeled me. So it's
Okay.
under
That
M.
makes sense.
So Chris is first in my headshot folder. And so I uploaded her folder, her headshot. Then I hit AI and I said, okay, Halloween theme. And they were terrifying. They were straight up like ripped out of a zombie. I don't even know
Fantastic.
that.
In other words, fantastic.
I don't even know that like rated R would be enough. I was just like, oh my, no, I am not putting any of this up. These are hard. Oh my God, no. So yeah, at that point, the speaker pictures had already been done, and I had them on pumpkins and ghosts, and they looked, you know,
Cute. Spooky
cute,
cute.
spooky cute. Because that's the vibe that I was going for the whole Spirit Summit, which is going to be a very cool summit. And that one's got two or three certifications for that one as well. And some fabulous speakers. So yeah, we've got, I mean, just up and coming. So we've got the Safety Summit coming in July, and there's the personal safety equipment, and emergency and disaster with me, Kay Clausen, and Mary. And then in August, there's Mindy Dinwiddie, Melissa Jepson, Ashley Hanvey, and Eva.
Is that
And they're
is,
doing
is that the one I'm
difficult.
doing doodles for?
Nope,
Oh, okay.
this those
I
4.
forgot what
And
month that was happening.
so it's Mindy's geriatric class for certification and Melissa's difficult dogs for certification. And then for September is styling with the masters, which starts off with Terry DiMarino doing a structure class to kick it off, because that is the basis of everything.
Mhm.
And there's going to be a certification for that. And then Shannon Toops is doing 4 hours of Bichon.
Ooh.
Everything you want to know about Bichon. It's all going to be in there. Pet, show, breed history, all the things. And then on Monday, it is like, what a lineup. It's going to be Terrier Day. So we've got Amy Hendren, Vanessa Donovan, Lauren Mosquita, Catherine, oh my God.
I don't know because I have nothing to do with it anymore.
Yeah.
So
Robillard. And then, was in the middle. Oh my God. One more. And I'm flaking on who it is. So, but it's going to be, oh, Heather Hudson. Right. Balding and blending. So it's going to be all about hand stripping, and then the soft coated wheaten, balding and blending, and Norfolk, Norwich, Wire Fox Terrier, soft coated wheaten, Lakeland. So it's going to be just like a whole bunch of cool, everything terrier. And then in October, it's going to be Angela Cumpy, Michelle Knowles, Mary, Chris. Chris and I are doing a really fun class on that.
Oh,
and we've
that's
got
the one I'm thinking of, right?
Yes.
That's right.
Yes. And so, yeah, it's just a great lineup. We've got some incredible speakers doing incredible things. And then it just goes from there. So yeah, so that's what's coming up. And it's going to be a lot of fun and some really, really cool classes coming in. And I'm really excited about all of them.
Yay. I am too.
Okay, so again, a round of applause for Angie. And I'm on to the next stage of my life. Like I said, I'm not going anywhere, but with a real support.
I had the soundboard queued up for the ending credits. It took me a minute. Just saying. All right, so Mary, you've got poke and cheese that needs to happen. Insulin
Yes,
for a
poke and
puppers.
cheese. Actually, poke and butter.
Poke and butter.
So,
Butter. Okay.
He gets his insulin shot.
All right.
I better have a slice of butter with
Yeah,
that.
poke and cheese. Right. Check.
Poke and cheese. Yeah.
Poke and cheese, yes. See,
All right.
if you said Cecil poke and cheese, then I would have been like, oh.
Yeah.
But I was like, because I have a hearing deficit and I am largely hearing impaired, and I was like, it sounded like poke and cheese, but no, that couldn't have been it.
It can't be it. That
Okay.
can't be it. I don't.
So
Anyway,
I had a customer say to me, okay, what I should say, I heard a customer say to me, Bella got eclectic new shoes. And this is she's talking about her Maltese. And I looked down and she's not wearing shoes. And I was like, oh. And I'm looking at her like, what in the is she talking about? Because this dog's not wearing shoes. And she recognized, she knew that I have very little hearing left. And she picked up the dog and went, her collar, it's electric blue. And I was like, oh, pretty. Not eclectic new shoes. Check. Okay.
All right. Well, on that note, and I dare you to not think about a Maltese wearing eclectic new shoes. On that
I was all
note,
excited to see it. I was like, cool. What? Oh,
were you disappointed that they weren't there?
I was, because she was kind of a diva, and her electric blue collar had like little rhinestones all over it. It had her name on it in rhinestones, and it was very girly and very pretty. So, I mean, that's kind of what I was like thinking she would have, like little rhinestoney princess shoes.
Mhm.
But she had no shoes. There was no shoes to be found. It was all a lie.
I think Bella is happy about that.
Yeah, she was.
Anywho, Angie, thank you. Congratulations on Positive Ed. I look forward to everything new. Mary, congratulations on the new gardening stage of your life. And everybody else, remember to reevaluate your stage of life and safe travels. Well, that was fun. But now it's time to head home. We hope you enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed chatting with you. If there are any topics you'd like us to discuss or guests you want to see join us on this crazy road trip of ours, let us know in the Traveling Groomers Facebook page. Don't forget to thank our sponsors. And see you next week, guys. Safe travels.